is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Brandon's Face. It's the podcast about a playlist. My name is Jonathan Beardsley, and as always, I'm joined by the titular face of the podcast, Brandon May. Brandon, I hope you're doing well this evening.
I sure am.
We were hit with the Grammy nominations, and I want to go through these with you, and we can kind of do a mix of our predictions, who we want to win, who we think should have been nominated as we go through the categories. And let's just hit on the categories that are kind of applicable to our interests here.
Let's do it.
For the sake of brevity. All right, man, let's start off with Record of the Year, which, are you familiar with the difference between Record of the Year and Song of the Year?
I'm actually not, and I'm hoping you can enlighten me here.
So Record of the Year pertains to the artist and production of the song. Song of the Year is the songwriter.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. So I don't know if that means writes music as well as lyrics, but we'll take that in more of a lyrical sense for the purposes of this exercise. All right, so let's start off with Record of the Year. There's some surprising nominees. Let's go through these. ABBA, Don't Shut Me Down. Adele, Easy on Me. Beyonce, Break My Soul. Brandi Carlile featuring Lucius, You and Me on the Rock. Is this a song you're familiar with? Have you heard this?
No, I don't think I have.
I have not either. Doja Cat, Woman. Harry Styles, As It Was. Kendrick Lamar, The Heart Part 5. Lizzo, About Damn Time. Mary J. Blige, Good Morning Gorgeous. And Steve Lacy, Bad Habit. So I'm going to go with your prediction first. Do you have a prediction for this one? Have you narrowed it down to a few?
I think Harry Styles is going to win it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't like that song, but I feel like it's going to win at least a few Grammys. So if it takes home Record of the Year, then yeah, I feel like it's honestly between that and Doja Cat in this category, which I did not know that Doja Cat song was eligible. I think the album
was released
is
late last year, right?
I think it was released as a single after the album, so maybe it qualifies that way. But her album, I believe, was nominated last year. It's not nominated this year.
That was probably on purpose.
I imagine so, but yeah, that's probably my favorite song off that album. So we'll see how that category plays out. That one's kind of a weird one. A lot of ABBA this year. So let's move on to album of the year here. We got ABBA, Voyage, Adele, 30, Bad Bunny, not even going to pronounce that one, Beyonce, Brandi Carlile, Coldplay, Harry Styles, Kendrick Lamar, Lizzo, and Mary J. Blige. I think we covered like 2 songs off that album.
We did. I don't think we covered the whole thing.
No, I saw an Usher feature, and I was like, yeah, add that. But I don't think we listened to that whole album. Maybe we missed something.
Maybe.
All right, man. What do you think the Grammys album of the year is going to be?
I honestly, man, I don't know. I think it's a toss up between Adele and Harry Styles. I think both of those did very good, did very well in the charts, and I think that.
Okay, well, let's flip it. Who do you want to win out of all of those artists? I do agree that Adele and Harry Styles are very, they're critical darlings. They're commercial darlings. They're going to have an upper hand in some of these categories, but I don't know, man. It'd be cool to see Kendrick or Beyonce or Lizzo win some of these, but it's going to be interesting to see how the popular opinion plays out versus the critical opinion in this year.
I don't think Kendrick is going to get album of the year. I think that he deserves Record of the Year for The Heart Part 5, which wasn't even part of Mr. Morale. But yeah. I think it's yeah, man. These are kind of garbage choices, but
I agree. They're not very. All right, so what's an album you would have put in here for album of the year? Let's not say metal. Let's try and keep it within the realm of what the Grammys go for. What's an album that you would have thrown in here?
Well, I mean, Spoon's Lucifer on the Sofa is a great album. It's nominated in the rock category, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Oh, we will. We'll talk about quote unquote rock music in a little bit.
I think Orville Peck put out a fantastic album this year, and I think he should have at least gotten a Grammy nom. Right? I think he should have gotten a nod.
I agree.
I think after what's is it after Don FM? Don FM,
Yes.
I think, got snubbed.
That was
Again,
not
that was on
no,
it was
no,
on
it wasn't
purpose. It was on
submitted.
purpose. Yeah,
He
but
he didn't submit.
think it should have been. Yeah, that's
I agree. I think Don FM is the one missing from all these categories, honestly, in terms of the major commercial ones. It should be there and it should be winning some of them, quite frankly.
right.
Let's move on to Song of the Year. So let's keep in mind lyrics on this. Adele, Easy on Me, Beyonce, Break My Soul, Bonnie Raitt, Just Like That, don't know that one. DJ Khaled, God Did, no. Gale, ABCDEFU, not a song that I have heard. Have you heard that one?
I have not.
Harry Styles, As It Was, the Kendrick Lamar, The Heart Part 5, Lizzo, About Damn Time, Steve Lacy, Bad Habit, and Taylor Swift, All Too Well, the 10-minute version, which I was surprised to see nominated. I feel like that's a sleeper pick. What do you think?
I think Taylor's going to win that, bro.
I think that she could, but I feel like if we're going lyrics and I'm understanding the category correctly, I think this is where The Heart Part 5 might take it.
That's possible. I honestly think it's a toss-up between those two.
Yeah, I do as well. Let's talk about Best New Artist. This is probably my favorite category. So Anita, I caught her Coachella set. She was okay, like a Latin pop artist.
Right.
Domi and JD Beck, I think we reviewed some of their stuff. They're kind of like alternative jazz musicians that are on Anderson .Paak's label.
Yep.
Pop jazz. Lotto, we reviewed a couple of her songs. Maneskin, who I honestly only know the one song of theirs that was big on the radio a year or two ago.
Which
Molly
is crazy
Tuttle.
that they're going to get a nomination or potentially a win for Best New Artist when that song was probably recorded 3 years ago.
Yeah. And I think they're probably in their 30s. Like it's interesting what the definition of new artist is to the Grammys, but we'll stay along with their ride. Money Long. This is an artist we're going to be talking about in about 2 weeks. I'm going to throw her album on that we missed a month or so ago.
All right.
She is one to watch for sure. I would not be mad if she wins this category, but she's not my pick. Omar Apollo. Gotta be my front runner for this category, man. I don't think there's ever been a more perfect pick, except the other nominees, Samara Joy, Wet Leg, and Toby Nguikwe. Very happy to see Toby nominated, but I think I gotta go for Omar on this one. What about you?
Did we talk about Wet Leg this year? Did we review their album?
We did not. You did not throw it on. I did catch a lot of the reviews of their stuff. I know that they're kind of big in the indie rock scene.
Yeah.
Is that where they're? Okay.
I've
seen a lot of their
rock,
stuff online.
Everybody calls them punk. I don't really think that that's the case, but
no. Did you want to talk about them?
Maybe. I was just curious. We did. I did listen to the album because when it came out, there was all of that hubbub. I would love to see. I'd love to see someone in the rock category get it, but of course, Omar Apollo being on that list that's a big nomination for him.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of categories, quote unquote, right to me, but Money Long, Omar Apollo, and Toby Nguikwe, those are three nominees I can get behind for sure.
That was the name that stood out to me the most when I was reading the nominations. Toby Nguikwe, let's go, man.
Oh yeah, he's on top of the world right now.
Good for him.
Next up, Best Pop Solo Performance. Not sure what the definition of this one is. I think it's just a pop song. We got Adele, Easy on Me, Bad Bunny, Moscow Mule, Doja Cat, Woman, Harry Styles, As It Was, Lizzo, About Damn Time, Steve Lacy, Bad Habit. This one you could kind of take any way you want. I think Moscow Mule is a phenomenal song. I think Woman's a phenomenal song, and I think About Damn Time is a phenomenal song. But are they just going to Grammys it and give it to Harry Styles?
Honestly, fucking probably. And somebody can correct me in the comments if they want to, but I believe the performance ones are based off of a specific performance that they did of the song throughout the year somewhere.
Interesting.
So like the Steve Lacy one could be the SNL performance sort of thing,
Yeah, which should be under R&B. That's kind of a weird category to slot this under, but whatever. Best pop duo group performance, one of the most baffling categories to me, but one of the easiest to understand. It is a duet, essentially. We got ABBA, Don't Shut Me Down, Camila Cabello featuring Ed Sheeran, Bam Bam, Coldplay and BTS, My Universe, Post Malone and Doja Cat, I Like You, and Sam Smith and Kim Petras, Unholy. I think I'm gonna have to go. I mean, based on the songs available, which are only five, I think the Post Malone one and the Camila ones are the two that I enjoy listening to the most.
Camila
But
deserves it, man.
yeah, I think she does as well. I could see them giving that to ABBA. I could see them sneaking an ABBA win in there just for the headlines, you know?
Yeah.
They gave them an ungodly amount of nominations, so they got to
What,
win something,
which
right?
is wild, man, 'cause that record was not that good, bro.
No, it is not. I can't imagine it's gonna win. Let's skip
Huge
best
ABBA
pop.
fan, but this
Yeah,
ain't
no,
it, Chief.
ABBA's fantastic. That ad album is not. We're not going to talk about best traditional pop vocal. All right, best pop vocal album: ABBA, Adele, Coldplay, Harry Styles, Lizzo. I'm pulling for Lizzo. You?
I'm pulling for Lizzo also.
Good. All right, let's talk about some EDM. Best dance electronic recording: Beyonce, Break My Soul, Bonobo, Rosewood, David Guetta and Baby Rexha, I'm Good, Diplo and Miguel, Don't Forget My Love, Kaytranada featuring Her, Intimidated, and Rufus Du Sol, On My Knees. I'm guessing your two picks are between Bonobo and Rufus Du Sol. Am I wrong?
You are definitely not wrong.
I knew it.
I'm kind of offended that they put Beyonce in this category, bro.
She submitted this category. But yeah, the way her singles play out, the way they're nominated, and kind of like one in pop, one in dance, one in R&B is interesting. It's she's hedging her nominations, but
right.
I don't know. Break My Soul does fit the dance category. It's just I would consider it a pop song, but I get that it's pop EDM. So I'm not
Show
gonna...
Me Love definitely is a dance record. I don't think that Break My Soul is a dance song. I think that it would have been argued. Dance song.
I think that it would be argued when Show Me Love came out that the dance community would have called that a pop song.
That's fair. That's fair.
But you never know. Fair. I'm pulling for Kaytranada featuring Her, Intimidated. I love that song. I don't know if it's the best recording or whatever this category is, but that's my favorite song in that category. So I'm going there. Best EDM album: Beyonce, Bonobo, Diplo, Odessa, Rufus Du Sol. What Odessa album was submitted?
I remember being so disappointed, man, and like really trying to be like, maybe they're gonna surprise me, and nope.
No. So who are you going for here? Rufus or Bonobo?
I think Bonobo deserves it.
Oh man. Yeah, I think it's Bonobo or Rufus if I'm being a purist, but I do think Beyonce has a legitimate shot in this category.
Yeah, she'll probably win it.
Let's skip best contemporary instrumental. Best rock performance. Okay. We have not covered most of these. I see Idols nominated, so we're probably going to pick Idols, yes. But we got Beck, the Black Keys, Brandi Carlile, Bryan Adams, Ozzy Osbourne featuring Jeff Beck, Turnstile, and Idols. It's got to be Idols. We got to go Kenny Beats, right?
It's got to be Idols, man. That record was fantastic.
Yeah, get Kenny Beats and Idols a Grammy, please, and especially compared to most everything else in that category.
Right.
Best metal performance: Ghost, Call Me a Little Sunshine, Megadeth, We'll Be Back, Muse, Killer Be Killed, Ozzy Osbourne featuring Tony Iommi, Degradation Rules, and Turnstile, Blackout. Do you have a favorite in that category? Is it Muse, Killer Be Killed? This is weird. These are weird nominations.
I think that was my standout from that record, but
I think it was, yeah. But I don't like any of these.
I don't think Ghost is metal, number one. I don't think that Ozzy is as metal as he was. I don't think Turnstile is metal. I think that's like heavier.
If we're going purely
punk,
off
purely off of those,
Muse or Megadeth off the instrumental for those songs.
Megadeth, my man. I hope they get it.
All right. Yeah, let's give Megadeth one.
Give Dave Mustaine a Grammy. Have they ever won a Grammy? I'm curious.
I don't know. We'll have to look that up. All right, let's move on though. Best rock song: Brandi Carlile, Broken Horses, Ozzy Osbourne, Patient Number 9, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Black Summer, Turnstile, Blackout, and The War on Drug, Harmonia's Dream. Do you have a favorite amongst any of these?
Yeah, the one I've listened to.
The War on Drugs. We probably listened to that Chili Peppers one, right?
Oh, that's right. We did. But yeah,
shows how much of an impression it made. Yeah,
I like those albums, but you can't really. I don't understand like large fans of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know?
Yeah, no, it's a weird subset of people. No offense to any of you listening that might be in that subset of people. All right, best rock album: Black Keys, Elvis Costello and the Imposters, Idols, Machine Gun Kelly, fucking kill me. Ozzy Osbourne and Spoon. This one's got to be between Spoon and Idols for me. I think I'm
Yep.
gonna pull for Spoon.
Yeah.
Just because Idols has a different nomination, they could win that category. Spoon could win this. We can all go home happy.
That's kind of how I feel. Honestly, I think Spoon deserves it, man. 20 years into their career and they put out their best album they've ever recorded. Like, that's crazy to me.
I
Crazy.
know I said that it topped Hot Thoughts, man. I don't know. I listened to Hot Thoughts again the other day. Oh,
I did too, man. I did too.
That's a fucking, oh my God, that's a great record. They're just a great band. Everybody listen to Spoon. Stop listening to this, listen to Spoon.
Right.
JK. All right. So best alternative music. We don't have to pick any of these. I just want to talk about them. Arctic Monkeys, There Better Be a Mirror Ball. Very weird considering that just came out like a few weeks ago.
Right. Yeah.
Big Thief, Certainty, haven't heard it. Florence and the Machine, King, good song. Wet Leg, Chasse Lounge. Is that a good song? Do you know that one by name?
I don't know it by name, no.
Okay. And Yeah Yeah Yeahs featuring Perfume Genius, Spitting Off the Edge of the World. I'm
Which
an
I
Arctic
did like.
Monkeys guy, but I think the Yeah 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 song is probably my favorite of these.
Yeah, I like the Yeah 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 song. I like There Better Be a Mirror Ball, man. I think that song
No,
is great.
I do too. Like I said, I'm an Arctic Monkeys guy, but that Yeah Yeah Yeahs one really stuck with me. I think that song is well produced, well written, and well performed.
Yeah.
Best alternative album: Arcade Fire, Big Thief, Bjork, Wet Leg, or Yeah Yeah Yeahs. I'm interested in your pick since you've probably heard more of these than me.
Arcade Fire.
Interesting. Okay, over Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Yeah, you
Yep.
did really like the Arcade Fire album. You gave it what, a 9?
I gave it a 10, but it's a 9.
Okay, okay,
I
for
gave it a
sure.
10, but I was biased from recency, and we'll talk more a little bit more about that in the next four weeks or so. But
Yes. Yeah, we
I
will.
gave it a 10. It is a 9. I really still enjoy that record.
Yes, everybody. Starting in 2 weeks, first episode of December will begin our Albums of the Year podcast series. So please tune in for that. Next up, we got Best R&B Performance: Beyonce, Virgo's Groove, Jasmine Sullivan, Hurt Me So Good, Lucky Day Over, Mary J. Blige, and Anderson .Paak, Here With Me, and Money Long, Hours and Hours. This one is a pick'em, honestly. I would have said Lucky Day Over as my favorite
I know you would
because,
have.
but I heard Money Long, Hours and Hours for the first time yesterday, and I think that's going to be it. However, Virgo's Groove was my favorite song on the Beyonce album. I just wish it was nominated under pop instead of R&B.
Right.
But that's a phenomenal one. I wouldn't be mad at any of these winning, although I don't think the Mary J one really stuck with me.
Yep.
Best traditional R&B performance, we got Have Not Heard This, Jasmine Sullivan collaboration, Babyface and LMA, Beyonce, Plastic on the Sofa, Mary J. Blige, Good Morning Gorgeous, and Snow Allegra's cover of Do for Love got a nomination, which I'm really surprised for. Obviously, I'm pulling for Snow Allegra.
Yeah,
I am
big fan of
Snow
Snow.
stan. Yeah, I was not expecting a Spotify single cover to get a Grammy nomination. That's fucking crazy,
Hell yeah,
honestly.
man. That's awesome.
Best R&B song: Beyonce, Cuff It, Jasmine Sullivan, Hurt Me So Good, Mary J. Blige, Good Morning Gorgeous, Money Long, Hours and Hours, PJ Morton, Please Don't Walk Away. I'm going to say Beyonce, Cuff It, or Money Long, Hours and Hours on that one.
I haven't heard that song. I'm excited to talk about Money Long now.
Oh yeah, that whole album is great, man. This week is actually turning out to be a little more stacked than I anticipated, but I think next week, Thanksgiving week, we only got Stormzy on the calendar, so we'll be able to unload the clip on all of the albums we've been holding off or have not reviewed.
Are you sure, man? Because my In Case of Slow Week Break Glass playlist is, I think, 14 hours. So
Yeah, maybe not unload the whole clip. This is America. We have automatic weapons. So, all right, let's go. Best progressive R&B album. I think Terrace Martin or Steve Lacy in this one. I don't know any of the other artists. Best R&B album. This is the one I wanted to get to. Chris Brown, Breezy, no. Lucky Day, Candy Drip, 1,000 times, yes. That should win the Grammy. Mary J. Blige, sure. PJ Morton, haven't heard it. Robert Glasper, a legend, have not heard that album, but God, Lucky Day is hands down my favorite in this category. I really hope he gets that because that album is great. I hope you've revisited it because it bummed me out that you didn't like it, but you've really liked almost all of his features since, so you might come around next time you hear it.
I will reserve
Um,
my thoughts, sir.
please do. All right, let's round this out. Best rap performance. We're not talking about God did. Doja Cat Vegas. We didn't talk about this song. Have you heard it? It's for that
No,
Elvis movie.
no, I haven't heard it.
So it samples Hound Dog by Elvis, and it was for the
Neat.
Baz Luhrmann Elvis biopic. It's been getting a decent amount of radio play, but I didn't throw it on because I was like, oh, it's just a soundtrack song. But it did pretty well for her. But I think we got to go Kendrick Lamar in this category, right?
That's the heart, right?
Yes.
Yep.
If they give it to Push and P over the Heart Part 5, then we are never talking about the Grammys ever again on
Hey
this
man,
podcast.
the Grammys want to seem young and hip, and if they give it to the one guy that's not currently in jail, then you know they're going to be like, look guys, we're cool, we're pushing P.
We're pushing P. All right. Best melodic rap performance. Not talking about DJ Khaled. We got Future, Drake, and Thames. That's a Thames sample. Fuck off. Jack Harlow, First Class. Fuck off. Kendrick Lamar featuring Blast and Amanda Ryfer, Die Hard. That's got to be it.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's gotta
Big
be the
Lotto,
one.
Big Energy, or Lotto, Big Energy. Yeah, I'm going Kendrick, Die Hard. I think we can agree on that. Best
Yeah.
rap song? God did. No. Future, Drake and Thames, no. Push and P, no. Churchill Downs, 1,000 times no. The Heart Part 5, yes.
Yeah, it's got to be the
Um,
heart. Hey, can we talk about the fact that the Grammys is almost certainly rigged if DJ Khaled has like how many is that? 7 nominations? 6 nominations for DJ
too
Khaled?
many. These are all for God did, though. They're all for the Jay-Z verse, which we did not talk about, and I don't want to talk
Yeah, I'm
about.
good. I'm good, man.
Yeah, yeah, no. If anybody wants to go listen to the Jay-Z verse on God did, go for it. All right, last up, let's talk about best rap album. We got DJ Khaled, God did, big surprise. Future, I Never Liked You, Jack Harlow, Kendrick Lamar, and Pusha T. I think in terms of this podcast, it's down to Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar. And I think Pusha T put out a better album, but I think that the Academy is going to side with Kendrick. What are your thoughts?
I think Kendrick's going to get it. I think that they snubbed my boy Freddie. They snubbed my boy Denzel. They snubbed my boy
Amen.
Jid. You
Amen.
know, like,
Yep.
shit, there were
Yep.
so many better albums than God did, man. It's crazy.
I think we could stop there. I think it gets mostly obscure categories from there, unless there's any jazz that you want to talk
No,
about.
I'm fine.
I don't think any of the groups we talked about got nominated
No,
in the
they
jazz
didn't.
category.
They didn't.
Sadly.
I looked. Some
Give
good music on
Sungazer
there,
a
though.
nomination, people. What the
Imagine. Yo, that would be the upset of the century at the
fuck? That'd be
Grammys.
fucking sick, dude. All right, man. Before we get into our weekly music review, if this is your guys' first time checking out the podcast, thank you for listening. If you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like the video, follow the channel. If you have not already, you can find us on all major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple, all of those. And you can find us on social media at Brandon's Face Pod on Instagram as well as Reddit. With that out of the way, you ready to talk about some music, buddy?
Let's do it, man. We had a good week.
We did. A surprisingly good week for late in the year. First up, we got a new one from Channel Tress called 6 a.m. Did this get your party going every day?
As is tradition with this guy, this track is a fucking vibe.
Yeah, man. He's had this one in his bag since Coachella. He performed it there. I'm glad he finally released it because it's a certified jam.
Yes,
It's great.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Next up, we got 2 songs from Flight Facilities, Feel It and Planet Claire. They released these 2 to celebrate the anniversary of Forever. It's unclear if we're getting a deluxe edition, but I really enjoyed these 2 tracks. What about you?
Feel It has this kind of like floating feeling that just kind of takes me to a dewlab party during sunset. Just absolutely beautiful, as Flight Facilities is able to do. Planet Claire, on the other hand, has this like tech house vibe that feels more like a 2 a.m. party in like in like a clean warehouse, not a dirty like a clean warehouse. These 2 can do no wrong. Apparently, both of these tracks are just fucking great.
I love how you specified the cleanliness of the warehouse. Thank you, Brandon.
I mean, some tracks take
No,
me to
no,
like
it's very
like
important.
shit
It's very
dripping from
important.
the ceiling, you know. But like this did
Oh yeah.
not. This was a really well kept up. They got a full bar, you know. But it's a
Do you
warehouse.
know how many shit dripping from the ceiling songs you've added to the playlist over this past year? I know that
A few,
vibe very
a few.
well. Yeah, quite a few. Next up, we got a new one from K5 and James French called Avalanche. I don't really know how I feel about every song they release, but I love how everything they release sounds completely different from the last. I liked this one. It feels like a throwback in a lot of ways. We're what, 4 songs into this project now? What do you
Yep.
think is next for it?
Shit, I don't know what's next for it, man. But I know that Mouse Cade is out here just giving Test Pilot more tracks to spin live. So
Very true. Do you think this is going to be like a Silk Sonic thing? Just like 2 years of their career, they'll release as many singles as they release, and that's kind of it, and just go back to their solo careers?
honestly, I have no idea with those two. They're both really busy dudes, and they're both really fantastic producers. And I think this could just be a creative endeavor to bide their time until they want a new album. You know,
Not that neither of them couldn't on their own, but they could also do a full like stadium tour with
they
this
probably could. I mean,
project.
they could
They're
probably sell
doing
it,
the
man.
Coliseum on New Year's, right?
Huge deal. Yeah, huge deal,
Yeah,
man.
so
It's
that's
wild.
gonna I feel like if they can sell that out, which they easily can, probably multiple times in a row, they can easily sell out almost any stadium in the US.
Yeah, man. The 303 just kind of squelching as the production or the percussion hits on this track is just
Oh
it's fucking
man,
bonkers, man. And
it's
that last
awesome.
drop is the last
Yeah.
drop is splendid. This was a
Really
good
good
track, man.
stuff.
I really like this one.
I did too. I did too. We got 2 new ones from Moonwalk that you threw on here, Power of the Universe and Welcome to the Future. Talk to me about these.
This is kind of technically an EP, but it's like 2 songs, so I understand kind of putting it where it is on the playlist, especially because it's only 2 tracks. The synth work on the title track is immaculate. It's full of passion. It's just really well put together. Welcome to the Future is kind of more of a builder. There's really like subtle synths that result in like this really interesting buzzsaw sound towards the end. I definitely have been holding back on throwing all of the techno that comes up in my notification bar every week. But these 2 tracks caught my ear, and I was like, you know what? I think John needs to hear these ones.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Both of these are really good. I enjoyed them. They blend deep house and like minimal techno in a really unique way. I really
Yeah, it's
like it.
different. It's different.
Yeah. Next up, we got a new one from HolyU called Mood of Rustle. Is this another one that was in just your endless sea of new techno coming in?
Yes.
Okay, I figured, man. I think that this track is really good. I think it's impressive to make a track that's as ethereal as it is mechanical. It's
Right.
really hard to do, but he pulls it off with this one, man. I liked it.
Yeah, this is a really small, interesting producer from Italy. I just kind of wanted to show you this. It's just really unique sounds, man. Much more of a set opener than anything else, but I really liked this.
I agree. I agree. Next up, you threw this one on here from Gloria Kim called OMG, and I fucking loved this one. I didn't really know whether to put it under pop or EDM, but I felt like it fit better under EDM for some reason. The song's
Yes.
awesome though, man. It's catchy, it's infectious, it's endlessly enjoyable. It's good shit, man. What did you think of this? How did
Did,
you find this artist?
I actually have in my notes. Did you show me Gloria Kim? Because I
Not
don't
that
know.
I
I don't know.
remember.
But I am following her on Spotify, so I really liked this, man. It's like this '90s pop feel that I just can't shake, man. I really dug this.
Yeah, great stuff. We'll have to keep an eye out for more from her for sure.
Most definitely.
Next up, we got one I threw on here very surprisingly. I just felt like you missed this and you would have thrown this on had you seen it. It's the Jayda G remix of Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. I love Jayda. I'm very happy she got this opportunity. She killed it with the instrumental, but if I have to hear It's Me High one more fucking time, I'm going to jump out of a window, man.
I'm the problem. It's me.
Hi.
Oh man, this is a great remix of this track, man. Good for Jayda G.
I was hoping you would really like it.
Oh, I definitely do. I think she put out like a whole remix EP. I think I haven't listened to any of them.
She
I've
did.
been busy this week, but man, that sexy baby line just sticks out like a sore thumb on this one.
Yeah, it's it's there. It's in the song.
All right, my sexy baby. Let's move on.
It's like when you're listening to it with somebody, you just always like start talking and turn the song down when it gets to that part. So, anyways, all right, man. Next up,
never mind that. Never mind that.
we gave this guy the ox. All right, we got a new one from Rihanna called "Born Again." This one was on the Black Panther soundtrack as well. You could have told me this was the same song as the last song she released, and I would not have known the difference, to be honest. It's beautiful, but boring despite the more experimental outro. It'll be interesting to see, though, if she gets any Grammy nominations next year in the soundtrack category, though. They feel tailor-made for that. What are your thoughts on it?
I didn't know we were getting two. Her voice sounds great. Either. Her voice sounds great. I really hope we get more like original music from her. I know that this is technically like two original songs or whatever, but they're not. These aren't for her. And when she makes art for herself, it always ends up being for everyone else at the same time.
Yeah, her voice is always going to be great. We want the music to be great and the songs to be great again.
And I'm sure that both of these songs are going to fit really well into the movie.
Yeah, I'm sure they will too.
But it's different, so
it definitely is. Next up, we got a new one from Stormzy called Firebabe. Did you enjoy this song at all?
Yeah, really liked this one.
Okay, so I was confused, or not confused. I was worried that this one was going to throw you completely off because he dropped like a 7-minute flex, and then he comes back with like kind of a pop R&B house track, or not house, but pop R&B song. And now he's doing like almost straight gospel pop type stuff. I personally like it when he goes into this lane. Obviously, I'm hoping the album has some bangers on it too. I'm not setting myself up for another Fred Again situation in terms of my expectations for this album. But I do like that he doesn't follow any rules or expectations of what a Stormzy album will be. That said, this isn't my favorite song of his, but I did really like it. Do you have any expanded thoughts on this one?
Yeah, man. My notes say, "Oh, we're getting moody, Stormzy, on this record."
Very moody.
I like the choral vocal chops. I like the down tempo beat. Is this harmonies with someone? Who is he harmonizing with?
I have no idea.
And I'm curious, judging by the singles that have dropped so far, I'm very curious how he's going to be structuring this as a full album. The build on this one is sublime, my man. Yeah. Sublime.
You know the way that Nas Magic album came out late last December, and I was like, this is a Christmas album. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, sure do.
This comes out the day after Thanksgiving, and like if it's all this down-tempo kind of sit around the fireplace and listen to me sing to myself type of stuff, I'm considering this a Thanksgiving album.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, very much looking forward to hearing that one next week. Next up, we got a new one from Kota the Friend and Hello O'Shea called Red Lights. Every time Kota and O'Shea make a song, it's a certified jam. This is no different. Instantly feels like classic Kota to me. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, hey, Kota. Been a while since we've heard anything from you. This one sounds
a few months?
Yeah. This one sounds a little bit more auto-tuned than usual, and I don't think I like it very much, to be completely honest. I think that this is the very rare Kota the Friend miss for me. Track is fine. Just weird that he would turn the auto-tune up like this. The lyrics and the production, they're all great. I just didn't like how much vocoder he used.
Well, you're going to have a new song of his to break down sooner or later, so it doesn't really matter if you liked it or not.
Give me a couple of days or a couple of weeks. We're never going to...
He's working on it right now, I guarantee it.
Oh, it's already done.
Yeah, it's probably done months ago. Next up, we got a new one from Brockhampton. This one's called The Ending. Last week, you asked me if it was just a Kevin Abstract solo song. That song was not. This song is just a Kevin Abstract solo song, as far as I can tell. But I do like it.
1 minute and 48 seconds, huh?
Yes. Their album drops tonight, actually. Are you excited for it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to listen to, man.
as are all Brockhampton albums. But yeah, that we get the rare Wednesday night drop for that, so that should be a good one.
Neat.
Next up, we got one you threw on here from Manchester Orchestra called No Rule. You liking this one?
Moving into the rock world. Yeah, man. So this song was actually written during the sessions for their last record, Million Masks of God, which you know that I just fucking loved last year. And I'm kind of glad that it's its own thing because I don't think it would really fit very well on that record. This one kind of has like a darker energy that like builds and breaks, and the piano in the background is like guiding and then like falling behind at the same time. I feel I really love this track, as I did with their album last year, and the crescendo on this one is just something else, dude. This band just fucking speaks to me.
Is this not rap music?
This is not rap music, no. It is not.
Yeah, man. This one's really good. His voice just soaring at the end of the song. It's a hard one not to like. I enjoyed it.
Cool, man. I thought that Manchester Orchestra was a weird pick for When We Were Young Festival.
I did too. I thought there was a few weird picks on there, honestly, but I enjoyed a majority of what they were going for.
Yeah.
Hey man, I had to see 303 at Warped Tour. I've seen Katy Perry at Warped Tour. Like it's weird some years. The scene isn't a genre, man. The scene is a clashing of genres.
Fair.
All right, man. Let's talk about this Honey Revenge track, Rerun, you threw on here. This song is fucking awesome. This band is awesome. I can't believe they don't have more monthly listeners. That's kind of criminal. I love everything about this. Thank you for throwing it on. Talk to me about it.
Did you not show me this band? Where am I getting all these bands from?
I definitely did not show you this band. Never heard of them before.
Man, this reminds me of like old Paramore. Poppy rock with like a twinge of punk. It's definitely overproduced and a little too catchy, but it's really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is great. Great shit. Next up, we got a new one from Pierce the Veil, Emergency Contact. I'm a big fan of this. It feels like classic Pierce the Veil, the whole I just want you to be my emergency contact as a lyrical device is very, very them. It's going to sell a lot of shirts at Hot Topic. I already know. I imagine you like this song. Yes.
Love the song. I disagree with your statements though.
As you should. But they finally announced the release date for their album, February 10th. It's called The Jaws of Life. I'm excited for it. Is the album art a little too literal?
No, I think it's on the nose, man.
Not too much. What's the album called? Jaws of Life. What should we do? I don't know, just show some Jaws of Life sitting on the ground.
How high res of a photo can you find me of Jaws of Life?
Yes. Just send my buddy out to the desert with some Jaws of Life. He'll get us some shots. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm not loving the artwork, but that does not dampen my enthusiasm for this album. Let's talk about February 10th, 2023 for a second, my friend, because our first super release day of next year is already shaping up. We got Khalila's album Raven, Paramore's This Is Why, Pierce the Veil, The Jaws of Life, and just announced yesterday, Tennis Pollen. In Flames is releasing an album that day as well. You want to break that down?
Hell yeah.
All right, yeah, we're going to have a big February 10th episode, everybody.
What's the over-under on King Gizzard releasing an album on that day?
Oh, my God. We need to check the Vegas Sportsbook. Speaking of King Gizzard, they just announced a tour, and I believe it is culminating at the Hollywood Bowl? Is that it?
They're announcing a residency across a few cities in the United States. So I think there's 3 dates in Seattle, 3 dates at Red Rock, and the final show is the Hollywood Bowl show, which is a 3-hour marathon set, which I did just buy tickets to.
Yes, of course you did, dude. How are we going to do this podcast when you have no face left after it's been melted off?
You know what's funny? It's also on a Wednesday, so...
Oh my God. Well, looks like we're doing a live pod from the King Gizzard concert.
I'm telling you, man, get down. Let's go.
Oh man, I want to do a live pod or an in-person pod with you one day. That would be fun.
Let's do it at the Hollywood Bowl, man.
At the Hollywood Bowl, tickets go on sale. The Boy Meets World podcast will be opening for us. It's going to be great. All right, let's talk about this new Zebrahead song, Licking a knife for fun. I do not recommend you do that. Brandon's Face as a podcast does not support that as an action. We do support this as a song, though, because this song kicks fucking ass.
I fucking love this song, man.
Are you feeling a little weird about the Sum 41 interpolation? Do you think it needed that?
No, but I think it's an homage. I mean, Zebrahead's been doing it just as long as they have. It's probably just, hey guys, remember us? You know, like
yeah, I didn't hate it.
We were doing this before everybody.
I didn't hate it at all, but I was listening to it as its own song, and then when that came in, it like whenever like I'm going through the playlist, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the song that interpolates that, and like I was like, oh, it shouldn't be remembered as that, you know?
Yeah, no, it's a good song, man.
I think it's a really good song too.
I feel like they're just, hey, we were on the first Tony Hawk soundtrack, remember us? You know, like
okay, yeah. You know what? Everybody that was on the first Tony Hawk soundtrack deserves like a lifetime pension or something.
Right?
Hopefully they got it through whatever they signed with that game, although I doubt it.
One can hope.
All right, let's cap off the singles with this new one from Wheel called Rumination. So when I was taking notes on this one, my wife said, "Is this Maynard?" And I just wanted to let you know that I'm not the only one who thinks that they sound similar to Tool. And I wasn't going to bring it up. But after she asked blindly, I was like, I have to say it. It's a good track though, man. It's technical. It's heavy. It's a really good one. What are your thoughts on this one? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, so this is the third song. The song is Impervious, but they released the whole EP, but we had already covered the other two songs.
Yeah, they're two.
Okay. It's kind of this is a celebration of signing to Inside Out Music. Good for them. I think this is classic Wheel sound at this point. And I really love the melodic guitar work here. Look, man, Tool was ruined for me. And I needed to find bands that did what they do just as well, or at least almost as well. But I don't think this guy, the vocalist, sounds like Maynard. I think Maynard has a very, very, very interesting voice. And as much as I might not like the guy, that dude is probably one of the best vocalists of our generation here. So
I'm not going to disagree with any of that. I don't know. Maybe do you know how many artists I think are Tame Impala? Like I think dude, like I hear only so many voices.
You're the guy pointing to a butterfly meme. Is this a Tame Impala?
That is exactly it. That is me every day when I turn on the radio.
Is this a Tame Impala? No, man. It's just Big Thief. All right.
Can I interest you in a band called A Perfect Circle? Have you heard of them? You should check them out. All right. Let's move on to the EPs. We only got one this week. It's one I threw on here from an artist called Josh Levi. This is his EP called Disc 2. I think Disc 1 came out in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. This one has actually been on my list of albums to show you for a while. He's a up-and-coming R&B singer that I think is really talented. This is his most recent EP, and I think there's a lot of good music on here, but my favorite tracks are Vices, All Over Again, and NASA. He did some live versions of these on YouTube recently that are really good. And one thing that stood out to me, Brandon, he actually dances.
Oh.
Do you know how few R&B artists actually hit like choreographed dances during songs? Like it is shockingly rare these days, especially if you grew up in the 90s, to not see it. So when he did that, I was like, oh God, instant fan. You did it. You did the thing. That won't be a big deal for a lot of people, but I really appreciated it, and I really liked this EP, and I'm interested to know if you liked it at all.
I fucking loved this.
Really?
Yeah, his voice is fucking great. I love the guitars that are throughout. They really add a layer to R&B that I think has probably been missing from the genre, and maybe one of the reasons I don't like all of the R&B that you've shown me. His music has confidence. There's a lot of power. Man, I really liked this one, man. Thank you for showing me.
I am glad you enjoyed it, man. Fuck yeah. This one will probably come up under my EPs as good as albums on our R&B albums of the year episode, and that's why I just wanted you to be familiar with it before I bring it up.
I sure am.
All right, buddy, you ready to talk about the albums?
I think I am, sir. Are you?
Oh, man, I'm very excited this week. We have a lot of good albums to talk about. Let's get straight into it. First up, we got Nas, King's Disease 3. I hope you don't mind if I dive in first, man.
Please.
This one turned out to be everything I wanted it to be. It's a worthy third entry in the King's Disease series. and a well-earned victory lap for Nas and Hit Boy. I guess another well-earned
Yeah.
victory lap for them if you
That's
count Magic.
kind of what Magic was, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we said it was. But this
Yeah.
feels like another victory lap, almost more than a third entry. But it opens extremely strong. It maintains its energy. It doesn't get repetitive. He could have trimmed a few songs to make the album listening experience a little more succinct, but I think the album flows pretty well. The only songs I would have cut are I'm on Fire and WTF SMH, which fills the role of the Brunch on Sundays from
Yep.
Volume 2 as the eye roll track of the album, but that's a pretty minor criticism. This album is really good and it has a lot of standouts for me. The first three tracks flow together perfectly. Ghetto Reporter does a great job setting the tone for the album. I love the Michael and Quincy comparison. Reminisce feels like it was a gift made specially for me at times when I'm listening to it. Get Light and First Time are both perfect. This album is great, man. I just love how we're in this phase of Nas's career where once or twice a year we just all gather around to listen to him tell stories over immaculate beats while he's in his fuzzy robe and slippers with a cognac and cigar just reminiscing.
We know he is too.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's exactly how I picture him recording these, like a leather-bound chair,
Right.
some mahogany in the room somewhere. Yeah, man, I think this is great. I think it's in the 8 to 9 range. Reminisce or Get Light are my favorite tracks. What are yours? Tell me about it.
I find his ability to reflect and find both solace and meaning really special, man. You can hear this quite a bit on Legit. His lyricism is just next level, man. Kind of going into this album, I realized it's really easy to judge all of his projects against Illmatic. And I think that that's just unfair. It's unfair to judge really any rap against that record, to be completely honest. I think that might be like my favorite hip hop album of all time.
It might be the greatest hip hop album of all time.
Right. I mean, it is what it is. Hit Boy and Nas are legendary pairing at this point. The beat switch on Reminisce is how beat switches should be done, not just like jarring switches on the beat. All three of these records, with both of them, seem to just have fantastic chemistry between production, flow, and lyricism. This is an incredible album, man. I can't help but love basically every bit of it, except for, WTF SMH could be dropped.
Glad we're on the same page on that.
It may not be my favorite quite yet, as it's so late. It's so late in the year, obviously, but it keeps growing on me with every listen. I listen to it a lot. This is the end of the King's Disease trilogy, and this is a fantastic ending to a fantastic trilogy. I gave it a 9, man. My standouts, because there are multiple, are Legit, Get Light, First Time, and Don't Shoot.
Dude, the piano sample in Legit is phenomenal. It is so fucking good, dude. Hit Boy did as good of a job as Nas did on this.
For
like
sure.
you said, they're both just legendary, and they cemented that with this series, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he could
really
wrap it up,
this.
honestly. Like, I hope we get more Nas, but if this is it, wow. What a fucking trilogy to go out on, dude. Good Lord. Yeah, legendary shit. All right, anything more to say about this record?
I just fucking loved it.
Yeah, same. All right, man. Let's talk about this new Yuna record, Y5. So I think I added her EP Y4, and I thought that she was releasing like Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, and Y5. And I thought once Y5 came out, I would just add all of them. It turns out this is her fifth album, and that was like the rollout for it. Oh. So this is all 5 EPs kind of combined with, I think, a few extra songs to make this full album. So you've heard maybe 3 or 4 of these songs, I think. But that said, man, I enjoyed this, but this is not the most exciting R&B album. It runs a little long, but it's well written and produced. The lyrics are good. Her voice is beautiful. And there's a handful of songs on this album that could be considered among the top of the R&B songs this year. Tracks like Pantone, Make a Move, Risk It All, Fool for You are all great, but my favorite is Girl You Used to Know. Obviously, if you know me, you knew the second that song was playing, you're like, yeah, that's a Jon song. I think she really tapped into something special on that one, but despite it being a little long, I enjoyed the whole album. She continues to be like one of the benchmarks for quality and consistency within the genre, and I appreciate her for that. I gave this album a 7 out of 10, and Girl You Used to Know is my standout. What did you think of this album?
You already know that I thought it was too slow.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I really like the bass line on Don't Want to Know. I like the lyrical content throughout the record, except for I do tend to dislike when lyrics like mention and like drone on about social media.
Sure.
Scrolling through my feed and shit. That just, it doesn't connect with me. I think it's a little cringe, as the kids say. Other than that, this album was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. Some of the production was interesting at times, but I kind of struggled to stay engaged throughout the record. I will say that when I split it up into two sections, the second half of the album is far more my speed. My standout is I had two that kind of caught my ears. Don't Want to Know and Make Believe are the ones that I really liked. I gave it a 5 because it's just not for me, but I respect your 7, man. I dig it.
Were you not a fan of the song New Friend Request by Gym Class Heroes?
That's different. That's different, right?
No,
man,
it's not. That's
out.
social
it's
media
not.
rap.
It's
man.
not, man. Wow, just got called out. No, I like that song.
All right, man. Let's talk about this new LS Dunes album, Past Lives.
Let's go.
My man, this one blew me away, but I need to hear your thoughts on this one first.
All righty. Crack knuckles here. All right, it's here. It is not a Seosin record. It's not a Thursday record. It's not a Coheed record, despite all of these bands loaning members to this project. The best part of this project to me is that you can hear every single one of their contributions loud and clear. They're on full display. Before I wrote my review, I saw that some people are calling this album bland and nothing special. From an energy standpoint, I think I can understand how people get there. We didn't get like the energy of Translating the Name, the progginess of Good Apollo, or like the apprehension of Full Collapse, but we didn't get these things because that's not what this project is. What we got is old school post-hardcore. I'm talking 90s post-hardcore at the drive-in quicksand post-hardcore mixed with a little bit of age and maturity. And we all kind of have to realize that Anthony Green is 40 right now. It's not going to sound youthful. It's not going to come off as starry-eyed as all of the albums that I mentioned earlier did, because that's not where these people are. What I loved about this record is the maturity in the lyrics. The mixing on this album is phenomenal, and the instrumentation is top-notch on every level. For anyone that does think that this album is bland, go back and listen to the bass lines. Like, it doesn't even matter the song. You can hear them as if they're leading. The bass itself is just fucking chef's kiss on this album, but we get real restraint on the guitar. We have a lot of fun time signatures in the drumming and a great vocal performance from Anthony. This is a great album. I cannot wait to keep this on repeat into next year. Permanent Rebellion is not only a great track, and I hope we hear more like this from them, but this should have been the closer. But album cuts like Blender and It Takes Time and my standout Gray Veins are just fantastic, man. I'm a huge fan of this album. I gave it a 9. My standout, obviously, like I just said, is Gray Veins. Take it away.
Man, I agree with every fucking thing you said. I think all of these songs are excellent. For a newly found supergroup, there's nothing about this album that sounds like a band trying to find its sound. This band knows exactly what it is, and it delivers that blend of like you said, 90s post-hardcore with an uncompromising approach. So that's really refreshing in today's music world. And I wondered what Anthony Green would do next after Circa Survive went on their indefinite hiatus at the end of last year. I assumed we'd get some Seosin performances and maybe even a new song or two. But I feel like there's so much history with Seosin that new music from them is always listened by people trying to compare it to their older stuff. This band was a way for a lot of these artists to not feel like this was just a refresh, but a reset. There's no baggage with this. It's just music. And the end result shows that that was the right move for everyone involved, because this is a masterclass. I was going to do a track by track breakdown for this album, but my notes quickly turned into just me saying every song is great. So I figured I'd just sum up my review by saying it's all great. My standout's sure Antibodies, and I gave it a 9 out of 10 as well. I do want to say something to what you said, though, in terms of people saying it's bland or like not heavy enough or whatever. Do you think they set themselves up for that by releasing the heaviest song as the first single?
Yes, I do. I think that Permanent Rebellion should have been an album cut, and I think that
I do too.
I think that it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it got every single person interested in it, but it also disappointed a few people. I knew we weren't going to get heavy like that, but I'm kind of glad we didn't also, and I want to hear more of that from them, like I said, but I think that did set them up for a little bit of failure here, or a little bit of Disappointment or
Yeah,
not
not
living up to
failure. The
expectations.
album succeeded, but I agree. I would have just A&R'd it a little different. I probably would have done Antibodies and Gray Veins as the single. Because if you hear 2022 for the first time you hit play on this album, that shit's gonna knock you
Hit
back.
different.
Hearing it as a single makes it to where you're like, all right, I've heard this, even though it's very impressive when you hit play on the album, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like putting that fight scene between Captain America and the Winter Soldier in the trailer for Captain America and the Winter Soldier. It's like, what the hell, bro?
Exactly. Exactly. All right, man, let's move on. We got a new one from Action Adventure. Their debut album, Imposter Syndrome, is here. You told me you were very curious and excited for this one because you didn't know how their sound would play out over the course of a full-length album. What do you think now that you've heard it?
I fucking love this, man. This is so much fun.
It is.
It's so much fun. It's a really fun album to listen to, man. Songs like 38, 1-8, and Levity and Carolina Reaper. I mean, they're just fun. It's just fun music, man. We have a lot of energy here, and I don't really have much else to say because there's not much to really critique. I mean, it's a pop punk that's kind of downtuned, you know. That's what it is.
You said
and I fucking love it.
It's fun. You said it best. It's a fun record.
Yeah,
did you give it a score?
Yeah, I gave it an 8. I really liked it. I think Losing Streak or Levity are my favorites.
Yeah, I also gave it an 8. I think my standout Save Yourself, but Losing Streak is like the best album cut for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, this one is a lot of fun, man. I keep finding new things I like about this album every time I listen to it, which is rare for an album as short as this one is. But they were smart to take their time crafting a debut album that they could execute the way that they imagined, and I think they pulled it off. This one will definitely be in my rotation for a while. I really enjoyed it.
Yep, it's a bop.
Good job, guys. Next up, we got a new one from Chelsea Grin. This one is called Suffer in Hell. It's the first of 2 albums. They will be releasing Suffer in Heaven, I think next March, sometime around then. What did you think of the first entry in the series?
All right. This album is pretty entertaining, man. This is Chelsea Grin's 6th studio album. I'm happy that this band persevered through all of the lineup changes that they went through, and I see them kind of flourishing in the scene. And I saw them back in 2014 when they opened up for Suicide Silence and the Black Dahlia Murder. That was a crazy show, and man, I really miss that venue, man. The Yost Theater in Santa Ana. They stopped doing shows like this very shortly after that. That show was crazy, man. The Pit. Somebody threw somebody else into the lighting booth, and all of the lights broke, so just the one was going as Black Dahlia Murder came up. It was great, man. It was a wall of death. It was a great show. Anyway, so they've progressed in their sound quite a bit since then, and on this record, I actually hear a lot of black metal influence. I wouldn't call this, quote, blackened deathcore, but there's clear influence from the riffs to the vocal tonalities to the drumming on this, and I really do love that. Both Forever Bloom and Deathbed Companion are a really great example of this, with the organs and the drawn-out riffs and the vocal flow. Crystal Casket is just crushingly heavy, and it's classic deathcore, man. I love the drum filler before the breakdown, then straight into double bass grooves. Man, that shit gets me going. I was actually surprised to hear some clean-ish vocals on the isness. They're welcome, and I think they work very well in this case. Morning Hymn shows off what they've always been very good at: riffs, scales, and creating kind of like ethereal moments. The piano is a fantastic atmosphere builder on this one. And then we get to Suffer in Hell, Suffer in Heaven. This is a full 2-minute breakdown, and I fucking love it. It's
my standout, by the way. Spoiler alert.
I'm sure it was. It's heavy as hell. Those neck scrapes, the synths, the overbends, just, man, executed very well. I'm a big fan of this record. I gave it an 8. My standout is Morning Hymn, but Suffer in Hell, Suffer in Heaven is so good, man.
Somehow I think I accidentally had the playlist on shuffle when I hit play on it the first time, and like that was the second song that played after one of like the EDM songs. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was just like, well, that's great. And then I ended up listening to this album next because I was like, I gotta hear. And there's really nothing else on the album quite like that, but the album is good.
Nothing like 18 breakdowns to get you going in the morning, Johnny.
No, man. Dear God. But I enjoyed this album a lot more than I thought I would going in. I thought the singles were okay, but I was wondering how much I would enjoy the sound over the course of what will be 2 albums. And the end result is surprisingly up my alley, man. It's heavy as fuck. There's really nothing about it formulaic or stagnant. I enjoyed this album from start to finish, but it was that finish that really put the stamp on my enjoyment of this album.
Little bow on that bag, if you will.
Just the exact type of over the top heavy shit that I love, man. It's terrific. I not only listened to this album though, I not only liked this album, I'm excited to hear the next one, which I think shows that they did something here.
It sure did.
And I wasn't expecting to walk away feeling that at all. I gave this one a 7 out of 10. My standout is obvious.
Nice.
All right, man. Next up, we got this one from Pharmacist you threw on here called Flourishing Extremities on Unspoiled Mental Grounds. Talk to me about this album.
I just need to give a shout out to whoever designed Pharmacist's logo. If I can read it, then you're doing it wrong for Grind. All right, man. So this album released on Valentine's Day this year, but I just heard about it a couple months ago. It's been sitting in my case of slow week break glass, and pretty much every weekend I go and I click on this and listen to the whole thing. So I figured, you know what, fuck it, let's throw it on here. This is Death Grind or Gore Grind or whatever the fuck you want to call it from Japan, actually.
I'm pretty sure blackened gore grind.
No, it's not blackened gore grind. God damn it. I'm pretty sure it's a single person, kind of like that Cosmic Putrefaction record we reviewed earlier this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I love this album for the riffs, man. I think the grooves and the riffs on this are just expertly crafted. The solos are fucking great, and the energy on this record is just intense. It's crazy heavy, and it's not very inventive, but Pharmacist finds catchy grooves that are almost too catchy for a death grind project. I also gave this one an 8, man. It's just been on rotation, and I love it. The Great Contractor is my favorite of this. What did you think about this album?
This one is definitely more your thing than mine, Brandon. I gave this one a few chances. Fair. I enjoyed some of the instrumentation, but I just wasn't really feeling the vocal style on this one. I did enjoy parts of the album, though. I liked when it slowed down and got a little more melodic in the middle of Necromorph, and some of the southern metal riffs on the title track. But yeah, as a whole, this album wasn't for me. I didn't rate it since I wouldn't be scoring it from the perspective of someone who really knows what the best version of this sounds like, but I liked parts of the songs more than the songs themselves and thought the guitar work on this album was incredible throughout. But this probably isn't one I'll be revisiting. I had fun trying to get into it, though.
That's good, man. Hey, thanks for trying. I knew it wasn't going to be your thing. This is definitely something that you grow into.
Necromorph is my standout if I'm going to pick one.
Nice. Yeah, I liked it. I'm going to be following Pharmacist, and we'll see what else they put out.
I look forward to breaking down future releases of theirs with you or his.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. Last up, we got this live album from MGMT 11-11-11. So this is a live album that they recorded 11 years ago at the Guggenheim. They were commissioned to write music as a response to the display by artist Maurizio Catalan, which was comprised of over 130 pieces of varying heights. I feel like without seeing the art, a lot of this album loses context, which is a shame because it sounds like a cool idea. What are your thoughts on this project as a whole? Did you know any of the context going in?
Yeah, I knew. I'd seen an article or something like the week before it dropped that they were about to drop it. I obviously agree with you. I wish we could see the art. But look, man, since this was recorded back in 2011 and we've gotten 2 albums since then, I actually decided to go back and I listened to their discography throughout the week. I listened to 1 album a day, and then I went back to Oracular Spectacular because sucker for that one.
I like Little Dark Age. That one's good.
Oh, I like Little Dark Age too. And I went back to listening, or I listened through throughout the week to their discography to kind of get a bearing on if this recording of original music kind of played a role in any of their other album sounds. It did not, but I kind of wish it did. MGMT has never been afraid of like blanketing their music with synths, but it's always kind of been in like a dancey kind of indie pop way and kind of more buzzsaw-y, you know. Here we get this kind of artsy, down-tempo, mostly lyricless piece of music that I have no doubt matched the art piece that they wrote for it. As a fan of MGMT since Oracular Spectacular, I actually was lucky enough to see them in 2014. It was a good show. I'm kind of glad we got this kind of music from them so far into their career. I'm not even sure I should be rating this, but my standout is Whistling Past the Graveyard.
I did not rate it either. That is my standout as well. I saw them in 2010 or 2011 at Coachella, and not only did they not play Kids when I saw them there, but they did not play Kids on this album of theirs that I had to review. So I still have not heard Kids live from MGMT. It makes a little more sense that they did not play it at this, considering what it is. But yeah, man, this one's kind of weird. I do wish that they would implement some more indie and like abstract things that they did on this album into their thing, but this album isn't really something I enjoyed listening to that much. What about you? Did you enjoy this?
I actually like kept coming back to specific songs like Whistling Past the Graveyard. I liked I Am Not Your Home a lot. And Tell It To Me Like It Is I think the other one I really liked.
Yeah, I thought there was a few good songs on it for sure. It just as an album, it was a tough one for me to get into.
Fair. Super fair.
Well, this was fun. You want to know what we're going to be talking about next week?
Let's do it.
Next week on the playlist, we will have Brockhampton's new album, The Family, a new album from Dave East called Book of David,
Hey.
Honey Dijon's album, Black Girl Magic, Roixop's Profound Mysteries 3, and the Soen, is that how you pronounce his name? S-O-E-N? Sure. His album, Atlantis, drops. Which of those are you most looking forward to?
Honestly, I'm very excited for Honey Dijon, man.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that as well. I think the Roixop one's going to be incredible based on what we've heard from it so far. If you guys want to check out what we're going to be listening to before we record next episode, be sure to follow along with the link in the show notes. We update that playlist link every week with what we're going to be breaking down next week. We try and sort it by genre so it's fun to listen to and easy. And we hope you all join us next week, man. Have a good week.
Peace.
Peace.